Hi guys, welcome back. This is Shireen, and I'm just gonna be chit-chatting with you tonight. Nothing heavy, just very light conversation. I have a friend of mine waiting. Her name is Dee, and we're just gonna socialize, right? And chat. Actually, I wanted to talk about I finished talk about that girl, that name Kara Obidi. I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. Forgive me, folks. She's a lovely woman, but I don't know if I'm saying her name. Anyhow, um, yeah, it seems as if they are really getting a divorce. Unsure. I've discussed that before, and yeah, and then the topic is gonna be on relationship tonight. So yeah. So Dee, I just added you. You can unmute your mic.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am all right.
Good.
Did I tell you about this one girl that got married and then she had two kids and she do a lot of videos and dancing, and then her husband come online and said that he wants a divorce, but he did it publicly. And then a lot of people, she was getting a lot of backlash saying that she wasn't a good person or a good mom or whatnot, not. But actually, in fact, she is. I think she is, right?
Oh,
But the relationship come to an end just like anything else, right?
I don't know. So he wanted the divorce and he announced that publicly?
Yeah, because they live a public life, though. You have to
Oh, okay.
understand. So if they
Okay.
live a public life, you have to. But she didn't even come out and say anything to anybody or tell anybody anything, because she even have her baby, the last child she had online. She had a water bath and a water birth online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So the topic here tonight is how do women keep it real, like enjoy their life. Say you don't want to have a relationship and you don't want commitment in relationship as a woman. Why you think it's so hard for a woman to not fall in love with the man? Or a woman can do what a man can do. You know how men just go out and have multiple partner and they don't have any attachment. But as long as a woman try to do the same thing, she usually gets attached. Are we?
Yeah.
Is it because we are more emotional beings, or I don't understand?
Um, that's a good point, and I think it's partly because we are brought up that way to be natural nurturers and to care. It partly DNA. I think for men especially, and going way back, um, it's all about procreation. And so that's their job, hunter, procreate. And I think part of that stays with us, but I do think a lot of it is upbringing.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, but I know this one guy who had he actually had this friend, and she came from Jamaica, and she went down to Jamaica, met this guy, and she got married to him because she was looking at his parents, and his parents are together.
Right.
So she figured if his parents are together, this is a respected person, and he's gonna do her due diligent. Like he's gonna be staying with her. He's more like, I would say, like a person who loves family
Cop-
because he was grown up that
Copying
way.
what he knows. Yes.
Copy what he knows, right?
Right.
But he didn't. As soon as he came here, he was like a wild dog. He was like a wild dog. I'm telling you, he was like a wild dog. And it goes from there. And
Yeah.
then, she was so hurt by the whole situation. But I don't know if I mean, some of it has to do with your upbringing, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I would put it all on that. People, I don't know. Guys are just, I can't figure them out.
Join the club. I think they say the same thing about women.
I know. You could give them everything. You give
Yeah,
them sex, cook,
yeah.
clean, take care of them, everything. They have no complaint, and yet they go out and they still cheat. Why?
Well, not all men are like that. I mean, we hear about that because that stands out really strongly. And if we have friends, they're really hurt by that. We see that in movies. I mean, I think they're given a lot more latitude though for that. Um, I find that we hear that, oh, he cheated. We're more forgiving. But if a woman was to do the exact same behaviors, it wouldn't be accepted in the same way. I don't think we've come that far
But
yet.
women want to be liberated, so why not? Why not? Because I mean, we
Because
should be, it shouldn't be like, for example, as I'm telling you about this girl, because she's exposing herself, everybody's on her about she exposing herself as if it's not her job. She's working, right? And
Mhm.
she chose to work, and that's the kind of job she chose to do. And yet people are saying, oh, she should stay home and she should behave like a wife. And sometimes I'm wondering, how does a wife behave?
I don't know what century are we living in. Sometimes I wonder too. It doesn't feel like the 21st century. Sometimes it feels like the
Exactly.
18th century.
Because you wash your cook,
Yeah,
etc., etc., and they still cheat. So what?
that's right.
I mean,
That's right.
so it doesn't even matter.
But
It
there are
doesn't.
some good men out there, and
There
I'm
is,
sure if
yes,
any of them were listening, they would be on the call. They would come and give their 2 cents. They're not all awful by any means, and they're not all cheaters. And there are many loyal men for sure, for sure. It's just that it's not. There's a double standard. A man can cheat; it's a little bit more accepted. A woman cannot. I don't feel that our society is as lenient. And men, it's okay if a man plays, as we call it. He goes out, he's like, oh, look at, he's a player. And people will say that with a laugh and a smile, even. Oh, he's a player. Oh, I can see he's a player. Look at him. He's handsome, but
right.
he's a player. But nobody says, look at that beautiful woman. She's a player.
Oh no, they start. They give her you know what word, right?
Oh, that's right. It's a
Oh
lot more
yeah, they start
derogatory,
to call
and
her
it's
this
not
and
said
call
with a
her that,
laugh and a ha ha.
as
Look
if
at that. Yeah,
we don't want to have fun too.
right.
And back to what we were originally talking about, which is women are emotional and we get so connected to people. We have
Hmm.
this feeling like we have
Yeah,
more feeling than a man, like we're more likely. A man can just, sex for a man is not love.
right. They can separate that, or you think they can? Yeah.
Right, it's not really love. But for a woman, as much as she want to believe, I think anyways, as much as she want to believe that it is not, the more she get, the more she's seen that guy, the more she get attached, even if
Hmm.
she says, oh, it's just friend with benefits.
That's right. Yeah, she tries to convince herself, even though all the signs are there. Even if a guy tells her up front, I don't want any attachments. Let's just keep it cool. Let's just be free about it, and kind of what we call the booty call. Um, Men are allowed to do that, or you feel like they're allowed to do that. Women, we're conditioned more that if we get intimate like that, um, that there's more meaning to it because we're not brought up to, like we were just talking about, to play. That's not common because it's not considered appropriate.
You know what I want to touch on though? Too often, when a woman reach over 35, going into 40, and say she get a divorce or her husband die or something
Mm-hmm.
happen, And sometimes, because I think that more so when a woman reach that age and they have been married most of their the year 20, most in their 30s, they spend a lifetime married. And
Yeah.
then if something happened, usually they don't want to just run, get back into a relationship as fast. So actually they consider doing booty calls because they feel free. They don't have anybody to cook for, anybody to
Yeah.
nag them, or anything like that. So I honestly think, but then if it goes on too long, she's judged.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
she's like judged right away. Oh yeah, she's dating all different kind of man. She have no respect for herself, and that's not what they say about these guys. They don't have no
No.
respect for themselves.
I've never, you're right. I've never heard that actually. If a man divorces, he or is a widower or just breaks up, they're more encouraged to, oh, go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Really, oh, go play a bit. You got rid of that old ball and chain kind of attitude. When a woman goes through that, it's more of they're encouraged after a certain period of time, I guess, to, oh, you shouldn't be alone. You're too young to be alone. Oh, you're so beautiful or whatever. You need to be with someone, and you don't. And
Exactly.
you can feel that. You hear it all the time. That constant. Women seem to be more barraged with that messaging of you shouldn't be alone. It's
As
almost
if
as
you're as if being alone is that bad. I
well,
enjoy my
that
company.
old maid kind of old school, and it's not that long ago. I mean, I still have like my mother-in-law who believes that what is your life if you aren't looking towards um, getting married and having children? What is there then?
Yeah, but she don't. You know what? She's old school though. She doesn't understand.
Hilarious.
Can I eat this? She's old school. She doesn't understand.
Yeah.
She's old school. She doesn't understand that being. Hold on, Davinia.
Oh, Jermaine.
Sorry about D.
You're hilarious.
I wish I could cut that out.
It's
It's
fine.
not a big deal, eh?
No. So what were you saying? Sorry.
No, I'm saying that it's just a perception of her because she grew up in that time and that
Yes,
era. And
that's
because
right.
she grew up in that era, she is going to she's gonna feel and think that way. Because she
That's
just see
that's
you
right.
as lonely. She just think that, oh, a woman must have somebody in order for them to be happy, which is further from the truth. Sometimes you don't have anybody and you're at the happiest of your life. You live your best life.
I agree, and I think that maybe this is happening. I know I've been doing it. Going forward, it's you raise all your children, boys, girls. I mean, everything. Binary, anything, not non-gender. It doesn't matter. But raise your children to not need anybody, to
Yeah.
rely on themselves, and then if you find a great partner, that's a bonus. That's how it's a bonus to your happiness. It's they're not going to make you happy. Don't look for people to do that for you because it's really when you look for people to make you happy, you'll never be happy.
Exactly. Because you know what too? You ever hear some people say, oh, if I'm not like if I'm not married, I'm not happy, or they don't have kids, they're not happy. But I'm wondering sometimes if people really know what happiness is. Are they depending on another human being to let them happy? Or some people say, oh, I'm going to try find the love of my life.
Hmm.
And do they really know what is the love of? And when they do, some do find it and it lasts.
Yeah.
Some keep going around, have different women. So how many? You can't find it. It's not there. It doesn't exist for you, or is it because you're choosing the wrong person?
No,
Or
I think it's to bottom line myself. I think it's unfair and a huge burden to be putting on somebody else this job of making you happy. And I don't,
exactly.
people should not be doing that. And so if you're happy with yourself, if you're able to be with yourself and enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy it, yeah, then you've released that burden for somebody else. Like, and this is how I find that people get very clingy, very controlling, too attached. It's unhealthy. It's just unhealthy. You can't enjoy a person when you're controlling a person. But if you're happy with yourself, when you're first in a relationship, you're it's like you're elated. You're both elated, and it just feels like this constant give. You're always looking, I'm just going to make him happy, and he's going to make me happy, or she's going to make me happy, and that,
And it
and
never work out.
right, but it doesn't last.
Yeah, because it
So,
gets tiring. If you have to please somebody all the time, it gets tiring. You're
right.
just so upset. You don't really want to be there at all.
But if you do notice that when you're happy, either with someone or without someone, you want other people to feel
To be
happy
happy,
too.
yes.
It's
If you're happy.
contagious if you're happy. It's contagious. Just like
Right.
some
Happiness is
people,
contagious.
but so is uh, anger and sadness or whatever. It's, if you're in a bad mood, you will try to bring, if you notice, you'll try to bring somebody else down too. And there's that old saying, misery loves company, right? So,
Yeah.
right. And so, but and it's hard to navigate that. I always say gravity, anger, unhappiness is heavier than happiness for some reason. So people pull you down. But the truth be told is like when you're feeling good about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you leave yourself open to finding that person that complements that. And you should, but because we have that in our minds where, oh, he likes me, and then we give a lot of benefit of the doubt. We ignore a lot of red flags because that whole nurturing aspect comes out in us a lot. And then you start to realize things go downhill. It's very difficult, really, to navigate through all that. It's a journey, right?
So let me ask you, when say a woman, and I'm talking about a woman like age 35 upwards.
Yeah, when we start to really find ourselves, yes.
You find yourself,
Yes.
and then you say to yourself, okay, because I was married when I was quite young. I met the person I was with for when I think I met him when I was 22, so I was
Right.
quite young. And when you're that young, I honestly don't think that I mean, yes, you have the feeling is there and whatnot, not, but you don't really live with the person or see the person to really understand who that person is.
Right.
And then the more you get to know the person, because you know how women are nurturers and whatnot, not, we always try to make things work. But
Right.
even though we see a lot of red flags like
Right.
his morals is not the same as our morals, just simple things like his belief is not our belief, it's not my belief or your belief. But then we overlooked it. Like, I mean, I see people getting together. One is Christian and one is atheist, and then
Right.
they're going to say, okay, we're going to make it work.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, when the love is no longer there, and then one is going to church and the other one hate, how is it? Because we are beings that do things together. So those are the things and those are the questions we need to ask. ourselves at the time. And it could be the fact that you and the person have a lot of chemistry.
Mhm.
But after so many years of being married, it has to be more than just the chemistry
It
to
has to
stay
go to another
together,
stage.
because the
Yeah.
first 2 years is a lovey-dovey stage or
Yes.
whatnot. But after the 2 years and you live with the person, you know that the person is there every day.
Hmm.
Now, there is no, I mean, you still love the person and you adore the person and you would still go out of your way for the person and be there for that person. But at the same time, you want just more than just go upstairs in the bedroom. It's not
Right.
about that anymore.
It's hard to believe that does get old.
But
Because you need some more substance. There
some
needs to be
substance need to be there.
a different kind of a stronger
Do
connection,
we
and that's
enjoy each other company even if we're not talking?
that's right. That's right. It's you enjoy being able to do nothing together.
Exactly. Do you
Right.
enjoy doing nothing with that person? Do
Yeah.
that person, like, there's so many. I'm gonna say, because sometimes you have to educate people, because some people don't know, because when I was younger I didn't know what to look for, because when
Right.
you're young you don't look for those things. If
Right.
I'm young getting involved in a relationship,
Yes.
the first thing I would do is date that person, and I wouldn't have kids for the first 2 3 years. I wouldn't get
Yes.
children involved at all. I would go out with that person and actually see if I really forget about the connection and the love and the intimacy and all that. I would really emphasize on, do we are we compatible apart from just having
Yes.
sex?
Yes.
Now, like for example, I am a person who likes to eat healthy.
Hmm.
Now, is he that type? Does he share that goal with me? Or, sometimes they don't share that goal with you, but sometimes after, when they see what you do, they'll join you. That is good, because they didn't have the education when they were growing up or whatnot, or never see it, or didn't, exposed to it. But
Right.
then some people, yeah, they didn't know, but now they know. But you have some people, they don't care. They want to eat pizza every day, and you are a healthy person. And you are a healthy freak, and then you end up with this guy who want to drink every night, have
Right.
pizza every day.
Right.
It's not. It's gonna annoy you, because
That's
you're here
right.
trying to live your best life the way you want it to live, and then this person, I mean, you love him because the sex is good, grab whatnot, not. But then he's not. He's drinking every night, and you just, this a no.
That's
Or
exactly. I
he's
don't.
smoking every night.
Right. And I
Or,
don't think that we're not brought up, definitely, and then maybe it sounds cold to many, but we're not brought up to really, and these are important decisions, like who is going to be your
right.
life partner. And yet we don't really sit down and we're not really properly educated about it. We aren't taught maybe to do something as simple as creating a list of what your must-haves, what's negotiable, what's non-negotiable, even, you know. Um, we do the same thing when we have children. We're not careful
Mm-hmm.
who we choose as a partner for our kids. Like, we think we are, but we don't put enough thought
Right. We don't. We only
into
put
it.
thought in
We
it.
put more thought into materialistic purchases than
Right.
we do into who we choose as a partner and who we're having children with. It's true.
Exactly. And I'm wondering, why didn't I know all of this before I start having kids? Because I'm thinking, okay, if my mom had told me, okay,
Yes, I
before
agree. Yeah.
before you have kids with anybody, you need to make sure that this person is a family oriented person, and there's ways to find out if that person is,
Right.
because you have some person are not um dedicated, or
Mhm.
they would just get up and walk out to the marriage and feel no way about it. They are not, they don't have they're not grounded the same way you are, but
Right.
yet you're with them.
Because we hope they'll change.
Right. And
Right?
people
How many
don't
times have
change.
you heard that? Oh, he might change or she might change after we get married, or then he might change or she might once we have children. And of course, nothing. It just keeps getting worse and worse, or
Exactly.
you're not, or you're getting more and more resentful. And going back to when you say, if my mother had taught me or told me, I do believe that. I don't believe families talk about it enough.
And they should.
My own people that like friends that I have don't even ask their children if they say, "Oh, I'm seeing someone," or "Oh, I went out with so and so." It's for me, it's just an automatic because out of concern and love for my kids. I'll say, "Oh, who is it? Is this a relationship? Is this somebody that you feel an attraction to, or just a platonic friendship?" I'll ask the questions. They also know that if they bring someone here and I feel they are completely incompatible with my child, I will say it not just to my child, but I will say it to that person they bring into the house as well. So I'll be saying, no, you're not compatible. This, I
Exactly.
don't, and my children thankfully respect me enough that they know I point certain things out of love. I don't just say, I don't like that person. I will
Exactly.
explain very
And
clearly what I'm seeing.
D,
Yeah.
that is the highlight, highlight of this conversation. Because if you have somebody who you respect, because in your
Mm-hmm.
life you must have one person
That's right.
that you respect and you honor their input. Anytime they said something to
Mm-hmm.
you, you are very keen on them because you know they have your best interest at heart.
And how do you earn respect?
By giving respect.
Well, yes, but also you hear this a lot that people have trouble with their kids. They're not listening to me. They don't listen, or they'll say your kids actually listen to you. It's like yes, and you know why? Because I don't talk down to them. I know they're smart. I always did. It's an expectation. I just feel like yeah, you're smart. You're learning. The other thing is walk your talk. There are
Exactly. Well, that is ultimate, right? You walk, you talk. You
oh
can't
the
you can't
amount
be
of
telling the kids that this,
and
don't
then you
do
do
that.
the opposite. How many parents are there smoking in front of their kids going, yeah, you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. Well, then why don't you stop smoking? Okay. Oh, you shouldn't drink. You don't drink a lot. It's going to ruin your. Then why don't you reduce or stop your drinking? Like
So,
walk your talk.
so we're gonna wrap up in about 2, 3 minutes, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give you time to speak or what you want people take away from this conversation.
Yeah.
So, what I would like people to take away from this conversation is that we're talking about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before people get into relationship or make commitment, like big commitment, like marriage, they shouldn't just think about the feeling at that point. They should really sit down
Mm-hmm.
and write down what is it they like and what is it they don't like. If they cannot figure out what is it they like,
Mm-hmm.
then write down what is it you don't like. And if what you don't like, that person possess some stuff that you don't like, there's a red flag. And sometimes listen to your intuition, because
Always.
there is
Always.
always some red flag there, but some of us believe that we can change that individual, which we
You
can't.
can never.
You
They
can
have to.
never.
They have to want to change. You
Right.
can't make people change. No.
If you meet somebody and you see them drink 2, 3 beer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you say, okay, you don't like it, but at the beginning it is fine.
Yeah.
Or if you meet somebody and you know you didn't want a smoker, and then the next thing you know he's outside smoking, and you
Because
know
yeah,
on your list you don't want a smoker. Now you have to put down those boundaries.
yeah,
And if you don't put those boundaries in place, that is where respect doesn't come in. right? Because he thinks you're not serious, right?
Right.
And so that's what I want people to take and talk to your kids
Yes.
about what to
Yes.
look for in
I
an
agree.
ideal person.
Be honest, be real with your kids. There, no subject should be off the table. It's all on the table. And don't wait until they're teenagers. Talk early, because once they hit teenage years, they're not listening to you anymore. Not in the way you'd like. All my conversations have started with my children since my eldest at 5. 5. Sex, everything, drugs, everything. I was in a way that the child could understand. But
Yeah, in an
then,
appropriate age, appropriate way.
yeah, but then, and it just became normal. And then the others that were younger would hear it. And so they always say to me, "Oh, you've been talking to us about this as long as we can remember." That's right. As long as you can remember. That is correct. You can't just spring these things on them at 13, 14, 15, 16. It's too late. Okay, that's when the peers have more influence, and you don't want peers having more influence unless they're incredibly great friends with really great goals, but otherwise, no.
Right. Otherwise, I mean, well, this is a good conversation. We could go on for hours and hours and hours, but
And
we
not
have to,
everyone's going to agree with us. It is our own opinions, and sometimes
right,
you and I don't agree either, but we respect that. That's part of it.
right, respect.
Yes,
Right, and people can agree to disagree.
that's exactly right. Yes,
And we're from two totally different background.
yes, we are.
And you see, so but as I said, talk to your kids.
Yes.
Do not settle, ladies. Don't.
Don't need to settle. You don't need anybody.
Right, you need yourself.
You need yourself. Yes,
Happiness is within, and when you are happy, everybody will see it, and
you'll
you
radiate
will
it.
gravitate. People will come towards you.
That's right. That's right. You don't have to work that hard to get the right person.
Guys, don't judge. This is our opinion.
Yes.
And if you don't agree with something that we have said, you can leave a comment there and we can discuss it, right?
Yes. Yes,
Nothing
of
is in
course.
red stone,
Nothing.
right? We're just having fun. This is just for chit chat. So we're going to go now and we'll see you in our next video.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Shereen. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.